In our study of foundational narratives, we look to how foundational narratives, how they affect our subconscious, how they are successfully tattooed onto our subconscious processes and phenomenon. And in turn, our subconscious processes and phenomenon, they very much will determine or at least influence our behavior, our decisions, our worldviews. So these are those unconscious biases we hear about, or sacred values, imagined communities, cognitive constructs, psychological orders. And I want us to ask for a second, how does a true believer, let's say a staff military officer working in Tehran, how does he see the world before he even walks in the room to recommend a new Iranian strategic approach or a continuation of Iranian strategic approach? And I think it's helpful that only in this way can we even begin to understand an adversary, to understand how their worldviews is so dynamically different and unique. Foundational narratives help us predict long-term adversarial thinking. We want to get ahead of news stories, of course, and we also want to understand a will to fight, a will to suffer, a will to die, and a will of a nation to suffer decade after decade. But Iranian is made up of many communities, many peoples, many religions, many ethnicities. And really what I want to look at is specifically in the Iranian military, a staff officer, before he enters that room to start strategy planning, what's going on in his head? What has he been brought up to believe? So up until recently, does he see Iran as literally surrounded by the U.S. military and allies on most fronts? So in the Persian Gulf, in Iraq, and Afghanistan, for example. Does he see a Persian empire lost that should be reclaimed? And if not through dominating militarily, then through influence in the Arab capitals of Baghdad, Beirut, and I'd say in Sana'a, and lesser so, of course, Damascus now. Or does he see Iran as the center, if you will, the heart of a rightful faith or religion that must be exported to welcome the return of the Mahdi, to usher in a final apocalyptic war? Does he see the world as, or the spark, I should say, of the Iranian revolution, that it must be exported to Yemen, to other places, to free peoples all over the world, that exporting of the revolutionary ideas is what is central? Or is this someone that's lashing out with rage and disgust after decades of isolation, maybe feelings of humiliation, a loss to Iraq in 1988, economic sanctions, etc.? Or is this more about survival against an existential Cold War with the Gulf states like Saudi Arabia and Saudi Arabia's allies? Is this a need for a new vanguard in Tehran after leaders failed to deliver on revolutionary ideas, or especially of equality and proper treatment of veterans of the revolution and the Iran-Iraq war? So maybe they're true believers beyond what the government message might be. Is there an ideation of death and acceptance of casualties with the messianic and millenarian nihilist seeming outlooks to culture and to life? Do they view, though, other children of Abraham as protected or as natural allies? Things to think about. Thank you.